Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your hosts and favorite realtors, Lauren
and Naya.
And we are so happy that you are joining us. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. Let's get into the story for this week.
All right. So you've got the contract signed, timelines are in place, and everyone is ready to close. But the lender says, actually, we can't approve this loan. That pre-approval, it turns out the one you had didn't really mean much at all. So these clients were excited first-time home buyers, as many are. They went online, filled out a quick lender form, and received a pre-approval letter within minutes. It showed that they could afford up to $550,000 and included a congratulations message in bold letters. They thought they were good to go. After viewing a handful of homes, they fell in love with a charming ranch in an established neighborhood. They wrote a strong offer, a conventional loan with 5% down, and a 30-day close. The sellers accepted and everything moved forward quickly. Their inspection was done, appraisal in line, title work underway. But then came underwriting. The lender dug into their documentation and uncovered several red flags. The wife's income was actually based on variable freelance work that hadn't been verified. The husband had recently changed jobs and didn't have 30 days of pay stubs. They had co-signed on a car loan for a sibling, which added significant debt to their DTI ratio. Their savings account had a large deposit with no paper trail, which triggered a sourcing issue. After escalating the file to underwriting and trying to patch things up, the lender ultimately denied the loan 2 days before closing. The sellers had already made moving arrangements. The buyers lost their earnest money deposit and were devastated. The wife later said, "We had a pre-approval. We didn't know that didn't mean we weren't actually approved."
This happens it's more common than people realize. It's that online sometimes be getting me.
Just these new online lenders, you really have to be careful.
Yeah. When they're only online, it's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, where'd you get this pre-approval? Who is this company?
Yeah.
Where'd you get this pre-approval letter from? It's like, oh, I went online. I just put it in. And I'm thinking, well, what information did you provide? What questions did they ask? I feel like that is huge because red flag number one, if it goes too fast,
I know.
There ain't no way. No way. You just tell me you just filled out the application. You said how much you wanted to spend or how much your house was.
Said, okay.
Congratulations, girl. You got it. What? Red flag. Red flag. That's not how the process goes at all. It takes a little longer than that. Not too long. It can take about 24 to 48 hours, but there's a lot of information that you have to provide. And if you did not provide that information, then that should tell you wait, maybe this isn't right. Let me go and talk to someone maybe who's done the process before. Let me call a realtor or whatever. You can call a friend or your parents and say, hey, is this how this process is supposed to work? And hopefully someone will tell you no.
Yeah.
Because you went 30 days with this pre-approval letter. You tell me nobody said, oh, this is not right.
Yeah. And that's not. Yeah. And that's.
You supposed
the agent, So I'm like, this would never happen with us because
ever.
One, we work with really strong lenders that we know really well. We know their work really well. And hey, if you come with your own lender, that's fine as well. But we are going to have all this stuff that they're finding out now. No, we are going through this process already with your lender before we even get to submitting an offer on your home. So that we're not running into this issue. So that was on part of the agent as well, to not have verified, to not have connected with this lender, to know what steps of their income verification had been completed or not completed. Just a mess.
Yeah.
It's really a mess.
It very much so. You're not doing your client any justice at all. Why would you not call them immediately? And then also the agent on the other side, on the listing side,
they also are supposed to call.
I'm calling immediately. Who is this lender? Can I text them? Can I call them when I just need some questions?
Exactly.
What is happening? Like, if you're submitting an offer on one of our homes, you better believe we are calling the lender before we accept it. This is not happening after we accept it. We want to know, are they getting a gift? We want to know what stuff you have already verified. But that is
right. And we're always asking, like, yeah, what kind of verification did you already do?
Right.
You know, some people are like, oh, you know, we do our pretty much their underwriting like on the front end, you know, as much as the underwriting on the front end. Like, so the fact that none of this was happening, they didn't even pull their like tax info yet. You didn't have their tax return.
What? No tax return. That right there should tell
that. But yeah, like, come on.
What do you mean it's verified? Yeah. Both agents.
Everybody.
Y'all messed up.
Yeah.
Y'all at that point, y'all ain't deserve to close. Y'all didn't want it that bad. Like, listen, agent, you didn't do any service to your seller by calling.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing you do is when you get offers on a house, you better call that lender. You don't know if they're contingent on selling the home. They may not put it in an offer, but the lender needs to tell you like, hey, yeah, they actually are contingent, or hey, yeah, we didn't verify this yet because they didn't get me this documentation.
This is all due diligence on both parties. Both parties, because now both parties are devastated, stuck, like just a complete mess.
And I don't even blame the buyers like that because they don't know
not the buyers, but like the professionals.
Yeah, I don't blame the buyers.
They're leaning on, like, the buyers. You wouldn't know that. You should be receiving that guidance from your realtor.
Yeah. Yep, that's what we are here for. 1,000%. So like, there is no blame on the buyers not understanding or not knowing that they didn't have a reputable pre-approval. And I don't feel like there's any, like, I wouldn't blame the sellers either, because again, you have hired me to do a job. And even though you say, yes, I want to take this offer, that's fine, but now I need to go back and do my job, do my due diligence, like Naya said, and we need to make sure, okay, this offer is as strong as it looks on paper. It's as strong, like we had the conversation, the lender seems great, blah blah blah, we worked with them before, they always get the clients to the settlement table on time.
Exactly.
They didn't do any of that.
Exactly.
Y'all should know better.
I love that you said on paper, because anybody can write and submit anything on paper. But that at the end of the day, all that was paper. Nothing was double checked, verified, or anything, and that's not what you want. So for buyers, it's important that when you choose your lender, seek guidance from a realtor who, again, has probably some trusted lender partners that they've worked with, that they know they can vouch for their work and know that they are taking the necessary steps to ensure a smooth closing process, to correctly do the pre-approval and take you through the rest of the financing process. And if you're shopping on your own before you get connected to a realtor, or, you know, however somebody maybe recommends you one, ask them, do you verify income and assets before I get my pre-approval letter? If they don't, you might want to keep shopping, because that's a disservice to you. You also can just work on gathering your documents early, like your W-2, your taxes. Like, they should be asking you for your taxes, your tax returns up front before your pre-approval. If they're not asking for that either, you might want to keep shopping, because you, again, really want to make sure that who you're working with is doing thorough work on the front end, so we're not running into like this complete shock later on, 30 days, 2 days before closing. And then, you know, as a general item, you want to make sure, as a part of your financial preparedness, like, that you haven't preferably switched jobs recently, or if you have, you know, do you at least have that 30 days of pay stubs already, or, you know, how soon will you have that, you know, how soon will you have completed your 30 days on that job, and are you within the same field of your previous job? So just thinking about those things as far as your financial preparedness, and let the lender know that you choose to work with, like, let them know if there is a possibility of a job change, or just be honest with everything that's going on up front, so they can say like, pause on this, don't do that. Move this money, don't move that money. Pay that debt, don't do that debt. So, I mean, don't pay that debt. So just work with likely who your realtor recommends, because they have an established relationship, and just be open and upfront about everything going on. That lender should also be asking all these questions to know what's going on, so that you don't get to the end of the road and get denied. What would you say for, well, we talked about this a little bit, but like for the sellers, for their agent to be able to like verify the validity of, you know, the buyer's information?
Yeah, I feel like we obviously, like when we first started, we weren't asking. We probably didn't have all the questions that we should be asking a lender. But as we grew into the business, as we, you know, have been through certain things, like I should have asked that question. I did not ask that question. I should have. I won't forget it again. Ever again. So now it's like we got a list, right? Like we give you a call, you know, we'll email you, we'll text you, we'll call you, see, you know, okay, are you responsive? We're asking you certain questions. Obviously, are they contingent on their home? Are they getting a gift? That is my number one question. Are they, because I've been called up twice and a piss.
Oh,
okay, I'm telling you right now, called up twice. And I asked those questions.
I remember.
The one time I did not, but then the second time I asked, and the lender was like, oh yeah, they're getting a gift. It's a large size, and something happened with the family. They had the gift. Something happened with the family, snatched it. Gift no longer giving. So now they can't buy the house. So it's like we can ask these questions, and we do, and you know, 99% of the time they work out, and the lenders are very upfront and honest, because at the end of the day, it does fall back on them. If I ask them a question and they say, oh no, which is why I like to also have things in writing, because I want to be able to go back to things like, you told me that this was good to go, but now it's not, like what's going on. So those are certain questions, like Naya said, what have you verified already? Credit, funds, tax returns, all of that, you know, having jobs. And then asking how quickly can they close. I don't really need to know their credit score, their interest rate. We don't really ask those questions. I figure if they're approved, then they're good to go.
And I would say also within that contract, there is a financial commitment. And like, I feel like, I know on our end, we are always following up. Like when we have buyers, we're always making sure that we're providing and showing that we have met our financial commitment date and deadline. We're providing that to the seller's agent. But I feel like, I don't know that everybody really pays attention to that. But that's one thing. We pay attention to it, and we provide it, because we're following through. You're following through with the financial commitment. We're following through that, like, we've done the work and the due diligence that you are financially prepared and committed to do this. So for the seller, make sure that your agent is seeking from the buyer's agent and the buyer's lender that financial commitment letter by the date that is in that contract. So
that's a great point. Thank you. I completely
like,
forgot
don't
about
skip that commitment letter.
Do not. No.
That might tell you everything right there before we get to day 28.
Right. 2 days before closing. I should have told you right then and there. So that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And in this market, like a solid pre-approval letter isn't just like, oh, it's a checkbox. No, like that is your final. You know what? In any market, a pre-approval letter is your, forget just this market, every market, any market, pre-approval is like the foundation. That is the first line of defense. That is where you're going to go. You're going to talk to a lender. You're going to get your pre-approval, and then you come back to us, and then that's when we kind of step back into it. And the thing is, if you have a consultation with your buyer, right? Usually you're speaking with your realtor first, and then the lender. If you're having a conversation and or a consultation with your realtor, they're going to tell you what to expect from the pre-approval process. So you know, if you go online and it took you 5 to 7 minutes to do everything and get a pre-approval, that right there is like, let's shop around. You also have the opportunity to shop around for multiple lenders, right? Because it only, again, counts as one inquiry if you do it within 30 days. So you can go ahead and get your online lender, then you can go with the local lender, and you can go with someone that maybe your realtor has recommended, and just see like, oh, okay, you know what? These other 2 lenders asked me for very detailed stuff.
Right.
This other one, I'm not even going to deal with it. And it's really your foundation to tell you that, yes, you can buy a house. And if you don't have that you can't move forward, and we won't move forward as your agents either. Like, we'll wait for you, obviously, but we can't move forward with a pre-approval letter that we're like, this seems no thank you. So so yeah, if you're buying a home, get the letter. Don't just get the letter, but make sure you know the truth behind it, and they did everything they're supposed to do. They did their due diligence. So that is it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you again have any questions for us, you can definitely reach out to us. But if you just want to watch the episodes, listen to it, you can find us and follow us on all the podcast platforms, also on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the things. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see you next week.